developers. There's sort of like a stage you get, all talked about it a little bit, where there was, hey, I play games, now I'm making games for myself. Then there's this jump of, I'm gonna make games in a professional capacity, there's gonna be some sort of money exchange. Can you talk a little bit more about what that was, how you made that leap and what it was like?
Yeah, so getting from, I guess, the hobbies points to actually taking it to the more professional where you're making money and actually making salary and making a living off it, it was a bit of a jump because, I was on Roblox for 15 years, and many of those years I was doing commission work and I was building for people, but didn't seem profitable enough until I was able to connect with the right people, such as GameFam and the other studios I have worked with in the past, and they really helped me network with different brands, different partners, different, work on different concerts, makes it feel so real. It takes it from, making Lego to, I'm actually working with some of the biggest brands in the world to create really cool events. And it kind of destroys the imposter syndrome that you sometimes feel working on Roblox as a developer. Maybe I'm not a real developer, but it's not true at all. It's just as real as anything. And work we do with these different brands and IP is just phenomenal, and it's cool people to use it on the platform and see how the platform is growing from, it's just a hobby to now you can actually make a professional career with it.
Anyone else want to take up that part of the question?
Yeah, so my experience, to be honest, is it's very similar to working independently, just with slightly more structure. Before I joined GameFam, I was independent for around 3 years, I want to say, working on my own games. And over those 3 years, I want to say I only released maybe one project, even though I was working on maybe 3 or 4 different games. And the problem with that is I was just a perfectionist in my own time, so I could spend an unlimited amount of time working on one thing and just deciding, it's still not good enough to release, and I just, I'll keep it a little bit longer and then release it. That's a blessing and a curse, because in an actual corporate setting, you don't have time to just keep waiting. You have to learn how to meet deadlines and approach things from a more logistical standpoint. When you're your own boss, it's really easy to just, it's nice, you can sleep in and you can stay up late, and as long as you're getting your work in, you're being productive, but it's just nice to have a little bit more structure. The money obviously is nice coming in, but one thing I want to emphasize is if you are doing something like game development, I really believe it has to come from a place of passion, because I went a long time before I got any monetary gain from it. And like I said, it feels exactly the same now that I work for a company. So you really just need to love what you do, and then you will bear the fruits of your labor.
Pauline, any sort of specific advice? Paul talked a bit about things that he learned. Vincenzo talked about programs and programming languages that he learned. Anything specific about, generally, you say if you want to give to your younger self and say, hey, I wish I knew this sooner.
Definitely don't be scared of experimenting. It took me a very long time, very winded path, and many different options that I tried to do that did not work out, that just led me here. I started off at GameFam as a 3D artist. The project I was on that unfortunately got canceled. There was a lot of opportunity.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot, yeah. There's a lot of, how do I say it? There's a lot of opportunities for us to go in so many different other directions, and thank God for my producer, being very patient with me as every single day coming in hey, I think we could be doing this and that and this. So one day he just approached me and was like, hey Paula, why don't I try to put you into the production side of things so that they can at least pay you to complain to me. And yeah, so just try it out. I started off as a 3D artist, did translations, 2D art, 3D art, print coding. I can't do your job, I'm sorry. But yeah, you just gotta try, and eventually you'll just learn somewhere.
Paul, any particular tips in terms of things that younger developers coming up should be thinking about?
The biggest thing, there's a lot, but I would say shoot your shots and reach out and ask, because the worst thing they can do is say no, but then the best thing they can do is have a conversation with you. And the most meaningful and most growth that I've ever had is by try just to have a conversation, ask the right questions, and just know what you want to learn from them. The more you can put into the question, the more you'll get out of the question. So just give it a shot, you know what I mean? Just reach out. Twitter is very accessible. People walking around here is a perfect example. Just reach out and ask them, like, hey, what do you do? Introduce yourself. And because when I started, I was super shy, and I was always like, oh, what's the point of even bothering? They're going to say no, but like, if you don't try, they're always going to say no, right? So that's the best thing, just give it a shot. Ask.
Yeah. And to quickly add on to also the places where to reach out, Roblox has many great places to reach out to. There's the Dev Forum, it's a very public space operated by Roblox where you can ask developer questions specifically. There's Twitter, like Taylor mentioned, and Roblox has, specifically the development community, has many great Discord servers, gilded places that you can just be in and just ask questions. And there are many people who are very much willing to help if you just ask for it.
And I think also just to add on to that is like everyone on Roblox is usually there just to have fun and make games. It's not impossible to find a couple of friends and make a game. You don't have to be paying people's salary to help you out. It's like, hey guys, let's do something fun and let's just put something together. That's how I think pretty much all of us got into it for the most part. And that's usually what we continue to try to do is just have fun with it and find what you're passionate about. You're not going to be good at everything, but don't be afraid to try everything because you never know what you're going to be good at and how good you're going to be at it. Like if someone says you have good 3D modeling a couple years ago, I probably would have been like, I don't know, we'll go back lately, but you know, you just gotta keep putting yourself out there and trying different avenues. Like I think everyone that's said here collectively is essentially, we've all tried different things, we've learned what we're good at, what we like, don't like, do what you like, do what you enjoy.
Yeah, by the way, I mean, I think all this stuff you guys are saying really applies. I've met, again, all kinds of developers across many different platforms, and applies to everyone. Everyone starts off in these ways, and like Taylor's point, most people start off as a group working together, you know, trying to build something that they're just passionate about, right? So I think now we're going to dig a little bit more into the specifics of Roblox a little bit. And just, you know, Roblox is a very different platform than other game platforms in terms of its user preferences and which games actually resonate with that community. How do you each think about that? Like, what were the things that you learned digging deep, building for the community that you can share with this group?
I think one of the biggest things I like to do when I'm coming to a game design document is figure out what games on the platform, or like not even on the platform, but just what games exist that do it well and don't do what you're trying to do well. Like it's good to look at the things that work and the things that do not work, because if you don't see what's failing, then you're never going to see what's also succeeding. You've got to look at a big, broad variety of different genres and games and see what the community actually likes, because like as you said, it's kind of a niche community, Roblox. You might
Very large niche.
very large niche. But if it doesn't stick, some people will just leave it instantly, so you really have to know what players like and how to get them instantly kind of hooked on to that genre that you're trying to get at.
To add on what you say from like the production standpoint, like add on, definitely the Discover page on Roblox is pretty great. The up and coming section is really a big, you know, gold mine if you really know how to look into stuff. Like, you just gotta play all the competitive games, just see how they're doing things, and essentially try to figure out the secret sauce and just try to turn it into your own thing. It's like, for example, Doors. There's, you know, the pretty popular horror game right now. There are many people who are trying to essentially recreate it, just copy paste it into their own little thing, but there's no one who's really like actually catching what's actually causing the game to work, what makes it unique and such. And yeah, you just, you know, have to dig into all of those games. There are really amazing games out there, just, you know, waiting to discover.
Awesome. Yeah, that goes into your point about experimenting, right? So I mean, obviously you have an idea, a thesis, you want to test it out, you know, about, hey, maybe this is why this game